Hey everybody, great to be learning with you today as we continue our studies of the third chapter in Sefer Yehoshua, a first look at how the Jews crossed the Yarden, the Jordan River. But first, a quick look back. Yehoshua chose two spies, Kalev and Pinchas, to spy out the land of Yericho located just across the Jordan River. Now, the king of Yericho found out about these people spying in their land and was not too happy about it, so he sent out a manhunt to try to track these people down. But luckily for Kalev and Pinchas, a woman named Rachav hid them in her inn, and then when the manhunt wasn't looking for them, lowered them out a window, down a wall, so that they could escape. Now, in exchange for helping them, Rachav wanted something in return. She wanted her family spared, so that when the Jews eventually came in to conquer Yericho, her family would be safe. So the spies agreed and told her to tie a red string outside of her window to identify her inn, and that anyone who was inside of that inn would be spared when the Jews finally did come to Yericho to conquer it. So as we begin the third chapter, we now find Yehoshua and the Jews camped out at a city called Shittim, located just to the east of the Jordan River. You can see it there towards the bottom of your map. And they camped here for 3 days. And on the morning of the third day, Yehoshua woke up really early. The Navi tells us the following: Vayashkem Yehoshua baboker. Yehoshua got up early in the morning. Vayisu mehashittim, and he helped the Jews travel from Shittim. Vayavo ad hayarden, and they came to the Yarden. Hu v'chol b'nei Yisrael, he and the Jewish people. Vayalinu sham terem yavoru, and they camped there until it was time to cross the Yarden. Now, it's interesting to point out here, Yehoshua only began his plans to cross the Jordan after 3 days' time. Now, why was that? Because at the end of the third day, it just so happened to be 30 days after the time that Moshe had died. So why is that significant? Because in Judaism, we spend 30 days mourning the loss of a loved one. This is called shloshim, which in Hebrew means 30. Now, before the Jews began to cross the Jordan and move on with their new lives in Israel and start this whole new chapter of conquering the land, they needed to properly mourn for Moshe and remember him and pay tribute to all that he had done to help them get to this point. And so only after Moshe's period of shloshim, his 30-day period of mourning, was over, did Yehoshua begin the formal plans to actually cross the Yarden, the Jordan River. And now, one of the big moments in Sefer Yehoshua occurs. Yehoshua literally split the Jordan to allow the Jews to cross on dry land. Now, if this sounds familiar, it probably is, because you may remember that Moshe himself split a river not too long before this. He split the Yam Suf back in Sefer Shemot. In class, we'll look at some similarities and differences between these two events, but you see this over here? That's the Aron Kodesh, the ark which held the Luchot, the tablets of the Torah. The people carrying it here in this picture are the Kohanim. Now, that's a new thing, by the way, because for the 40 years that the Jews were wandering in the desert with Moshe, it was the Nevi'im, not the Kohanim, who carried it. Yehoshua told the Kohanim to remain in the middle of the Yarden with the Aron as the entire nation crossed and walked past them, as this picture illustrates. So that's part one of the miracle at the Jordan River. In class, we're going to explore some big questions on the text, including why Yehoshua was reported to have gotten up early in the morning. Why does the Navi tell us that? What's the point? It seems like a very unimportant detail, but clearly the Navi was trying to express something to us. And secondly, along with that big question of why Yehoshua had to get up early, we'll also explore why did the Aron Kodesh have to stay in the middle of the Jordan River as the Jews crossed it. Seems like the Aron was there for longer than necessary. In the case of Moshe's time, Moshe literally split the Yam Suf right away, and then the Jews crossed. It seems like the Yarden is only staying split because of the Aron Kodesh being inside of it. So is there something to that, or is it just coincidence? We'll have a look at that issue and some more when we return to class. Looking forward to connecting with you when we return.